The city deal money is really important from the point of view of infrastructure investment in the fabric of the city and the environment of the city, and it's an amazingly positive move for the council and the city deal team and for the region as a whole. This is the latest in a series of consultation events, engagement events with the local community, where we're showing options for the future of Byres Road. Changing Byres Road and trying to make it into a more attractive place, a better place to do business and a more comfortable place for pedestrians.
I think it's a very, very good idea. I mean, people should be consulted about their own environment and about the worries that they may have.
The liaison between authorities, designers and so on with the public at large is very helpful for all of the aspects of the changes. You can't do productive change without consulting people.
It's very necessary that planning committees consult the residents. There's so many different types of residents in Byres Road and in the West End, but I think it's very important that they get as wide a cross-section of people to respond to the exhibition as possible.
Sometimes if you go too early in the process, people don't understand that you haven't got a design yet. They say, well, why are you asking us to comment? What have you got? But equally, if you do it too late in the process, they're saying, well, if you'd come earlier, we could have told you this or that. So it is important, and it's to listen to as many people as possible, but it's also to get others to listen, because we've got a finite amount of space and we have some conflicting needs. There's no doubt about it. And you only need to look at some of the comments on Facebook to see that, you know, one person is saying, well, you must pedestrianise this, and another person is saying, you absolutely must not pedestrianise this. So there has to be a bit of a balance, and that's going to be the challenge here.
I think the improvements have now become necessary. Byres Road's looking very tired from what it used to look like. It was a very vibrant, busy area. I think a lot of the shops, sadly, are still lying empty, particularly down at the bottom end.
Because Byres Road, I think, is the biggest and the busiest commercial area after the city centre, so we need to do something here to make sure Byres Road doesn't go the way of very many other traditional high streets that you see about Scotland.
We've presented a whole series of options today. We haven't homed in on one thing in particular. We've presented a series of ideas for different parts of the street, because the street's different all the way from the top to the bottom.
The easier access, like the wider pavements, that's a big interest. The more sort of European features, I like that. You know, like plants and flowers outside the shops and that sort of stuff. And easier access, I mean, sometimes at the junctions of Byres Road, it's murder trying to get across the road. That needs to be fixed, definitely.
Well, I've just read something about having a bit more event space, so there might be some interesting events that happen around the year, so I think that would be really good if we could do that. And maybe there's some things about having more drop curbs and making it more pedestrian, family, bicycle friendly, so these things I think will be good if we manage to do that.
I think it's important though for the shops within the area to still allow parking, because the shops would suffer if there was no parking, but I think it needs to be more controlled.
Not removing all traffic, but restricting it to, say, perhaps public transport, more cycling facilities.
It's a lovely area to live in. I would like to see it a bit cleaner.
I would definitely like to see more trees and planting and benches for people to rest at.
We've been getting some background research, because it's very important, because you need to know what's actually happening, not just what you think is happening. So we have been undertaking traffic counts, we've been looking at pedestrian flows, we've been undertaking a questionnaire. We did a week-long questionnaire before the schools stopped, looking at sort of who was here, why were they here, what were they spending. So that's all very important information about the economy.
Well, what's been great today is we've had, let me check my counter, we've had 103 people so far. We're about halfway through the afternoon. It's not just numbers though. What's really good is that people are spending time here, they're looking through the sheets, they're talking to us, they're thinking about the options, and we're encouraging people to think about the difficulty of balancing different types of activity. Car parking, cycling, walking, whatever. What I'm really pleased about is that people are very positive about generally, most people, there should be some change and it needs to improve, and these options are a good starting point.